Hello and welcome back to my Dandelion Diaries. Today I want to chat about journaling motivation, specifically things that I have done that have helped me become either more motivated to journal or helped me on days that I was feeling not really up to journaling at all. So I have 5 things I'm going to talk about today, and since this video is, a publicly viewed video, I would love for anybody to add their own tips or advice into the comments, and let's just start a discussion about things that may help some of us journal a little bit easier, or find something that helps us get into the groove of journaling if that's something that you are interested in doing on a daily basis or a very regular basis. So, tip number 1 that I usually give myself is keep it brief. And what I mean by that is you basically want to keep it brief. I mean, if I don't have a lot to talk about or a lot I want to say, let's just say I want to write down that I had a really good sandwich that day, that is all I'm going to write down. Or if I want to write down that I got to visit my mom and we had a good time and I don't really want to elaborate more than that, I will write 1 sentence about that and be done. A journal entry doesn't have to be this super long, 4-page entry. Like, it can just be a couple of sentences because that's what you felt like writing for that day. A second thing that I like to kind of consider when I'm getting ready to journal is getting away from technology. And also with this, limiting distractions. So whenever I want to sit down and journal, I find it much easier to just turn my phone off, or better yet, lose my phone in a way, give it to a family member or a friend and have them stash it somewhere to where you can't even find it. Just taking that distraction away for 20 minutes or 15 minutes or 10 minutes or even 5 minutes, however long you want to dedicate to journaling, just putting the phone away, not sitting in front of a computer that can allow any kind of distraction, and honestly just kind of being in a space that is a bit quieter. Like, I don't have children, but I do have dogs, so being in a space where my dogs can't come and kind of bother me while I'm trying to write, where I don't have to worry about them, maybe farting or coming and licking my toes or doing something that dogs do, bringing me a toy to play with. Like, I don't have to worry about that. I can set 10 minutes aside for myself in a separate room or in a space that they're not allowed into and journal that way too. So tip number 2, for sure, get away from technology for me personally, but more like broad scope of that, limiting any kind of distraction. The third thing that really works for me personally in terms of becoming a bit more motivated to journal is taking my journal somewhere else. So let's say I'm used to journaling on my couch and I'm really feeling unmotivated because I just don't want to journal on the couch. Like, I journal there every day. Like, I don't need to sit in the same spot again and again and again. Let's change it up. So I will take my book and my pen outside, sit on my patio, or even I'll take it to a cafe, have a nice cup of tea or coffee, or just take it to the library where it's free. They have plenty of space there and it's very quiet, very limiting distractions at a library, but just changing up the scenery. And it honestly kind of puts you in a different mindset because you're purposely moving your body to go to those places to do the thing you're intending to do. This kind of brings me back to when I was in college, and whenever I would want to study in the dorm, I would always fail. But if I would study in the library, I would actually study. So kind of similar to number 2, getting away from distraction, getting away from technology. Number 3 kind of coincides with this, is like just changing where you're doing it. Like, changing where you're journaling to a place that's a bit more meant for journal. Like, you're moving purposely to journal because you're moving to this place kind of situation. My 4th tip for this is get out supplies that you enjoy. If you like using washi tape, if you like using fountain pens, like, if there's anything that you have in your collection of supplies that you really enjoy playing around with, get it out. bring out some fun colors and start adding it to the page, and let that kind of give you some inspiration to continue to write, or maybe even you write about what you're using. That's also totally okay. Like, journal entries are very personal, and you can really write about literally anything. And if you get out a supply you enjoy, like I really enjoy Coffee Monsters Co. stickers. I also really enjoy, astrological washi tapes. I absolutely love writing with my fountain pens and inks. And I also love using my own stickers. Like, it's just, I get out supplies that I enjoy using, and then once they're on the page, it's easier for me to, I guess, write, because the page already has something on it too. It's not just like a blank page. I'm also looking at something that's already there, so it's a little less intimidating than just a blank page. And my final tip that I kind of give myself, or final piece of advice, is to find something to write about just to get you started, just to get that first sentence out. So some examples I like to give here are like movies, or a book you've read, or a food you had that day, you heard a funny joke at work, or a quote you read that just inspired you. Or better yet, just follow a list of prompts. Helen at the Coffee Monsters Co. literally posts monthly prompts if you're interested in following along with her. But for the movies and books, I feel like a lot of our community likes to absorb content, and it doesn't even have to be a long movie or a long book. It can be a short story that you read on Facebook. It can be an Instagram reel that you really enjoyed about more planner content, or YouTube content, or Twitch content, or Reddit content. Literally anything on social media you can write about. Just start the sentence there. Food, generally everybody eats, at least one meal a day. Write about that meal and how it made you feel, or what you liked about it, or what you didn't like about it. And then, jokes, quotes, literally anything to get you started with. Just that first sentence helps a ton with motivation. I find that when I really have no idea what to write, or if I don't have anything I really want to write about emotionally or physically, I'll just write about planners. Like, I will sit down and write about whatever journal I'm writing in and say what I love about it. And then the thoughts just kind of start flowing, and then more and more will pour out of me as I go with that. All this to say that journaling is, a habit that I like to keep up with. And although I try to do it every single day, sometimes I don't get to that. And that's why I always fall back on my number one tip here: keep it brief. If I didn't have time to journal that day, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. It is a practice that I like. It's not something that I'm forcing myself to do. So although all of these tips may be great for helping with journaling motivation, if you really just don't want to do it, or you're not feeling it that day, it's okay to take a break. It is totally fine to just not do it. And I think that coincides with what is happening around you in your day-to-day life. Like, if you are so unbelievably busy and overwhelmed that you just need to nap. Don't journal, just nap. You can process the thoughts later if you still feel them. It helps, but it's not a necessity to the journaling practice. I don't know. This is just me kind of spouting out what I feel about it. It's my opinions. And that's why I would love for anybody to kind of add to this in the comments of, what helps them stay motivated to journal, or maybe why you like to journal. Keeping it as believable to yourself as possible, following whatever rules make more sense to you. And on that note, there really are no rules, because this is just something that is a fun hobby or a fun habit to keep up with. And if it helps you, you want to do it more and more. At least that's how I feel about it. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling. I feel like this was a nice kind of collection of my thoughts in terms of journaling motivation. If you have any questions, please let me know. I wish you the best. I hope you're having a good day. I'll see you guys in the next one. And have a good one. Bye.